Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Thursday, March 6, 2025. Now if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most, including my top play in college basketball each day, my Bank Shot best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab of pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Thursday in college hoops. First up, we'll start in Arch Madness, the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. The first round game here between Evansville and Murray State. This one 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, I think Murray State certainly the team in better form at the end of the regular season compared to Evansville. The Purple Aces lost 3 straight to end the regular season, as well as 6 of their last 8. And I think they're in trouble in this one. Murray State, a very experienced team, one of the most experienced teams, not only in the conference, but in Division I college basketball in general, 20th ranked in D1 experience. So they're used to these conference tournament games. They're used to these Missouri Valley Conference tournament games, which we know Arch Madness is one of the more unique conference tournaments in all of college basketball. And I just think when you look at these two teams, they split the season series in the regular season. I think Murray State matches up a lot better in this one. They should be able to win the turnover battle, should be able to win the battle on the glass as well. One of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country. I expect more trips to the free throw line for Murray State. They're the better free throw shooting team. Their defense has been excellent against three-point jumpers, and that is not great for Evansville, which takes quite a few threes. They don't make them at a great rate, but they still rely on that offense. 31% of their points scored from three-point jumpers. I think Evansville's offense is going to be quite uncomfortable in this game. I don't think their defense makes enough stops to keep up. I'm going to go with Murray State in this one in the first round. Next up, we'll go to the MAAC. This one, Sacred Heart and Manhattan. I've really been impressed with Sacred Heart recently. And by the way, this is a regular season game. These teams play actually one more regular season game on Saturday before the conference tournament in the MAAC. But Sacred Heart, we backed them against Marist last week, and that was a blowout win. Really impressed with their play in that one. Then they had another blowout win over Fairfield. So because Manhattan on the other side has won a couple of games themselves in a row, we can still get Sacred Heart at a decent price in this matchup on the road. And I think Sacred Heart is a very solid dark horse to win this conference tournament. They're not the most experienced team, but they're strong offensively, good shooting team, good rebounding team, and their defense is really starting to improve at the most important time in the season. They're forcing tougher shots. I mean, we saw in that Marist game. Marist is a very solid team, one of the best offensive teams in the conference, and they were able to hold them at 54 points in that game. A defensive clinic, really, in that matchup. So I got to roll with Sacred Heart in this one on the road. Should be a good game. I would lean towards the over. I think both teams are going to score plenty because while Sacred Heart's defense has improved, Manhattan is still a pretty good offensive team. They're a good three-point shooting team, top 60 in free throw shooting. But Manhattan's issues have been defensively this year, where they're one of the weakest defenses in the conference. Next up, we have Canisius and Rider, also in the MAAC regular season. This one 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, last year we backed Canisius quite a few times and did quite well in those games. That the Golden Griffins were kind to us against the spread. This season, because the team has really struggled with a 3-26 straight-up record, we have luckily stayed away from Canisius for the most part up until recently, where we've backed them quite a few times, and they've done very well for us. They covered in 3 straight, Marist, Siena, and Manhattan. Through all 3 of those, they were underdogs, of course. One of those was the outright upset win. The other 2, they lost by single digits. And luckily, we stayed away from that last game against Iona. Just wasn't a good matchup, in my opinion. It's why I stayed off the Golden Griffins, and they ended up losing that game by 30 points. But for me, that was just a really bad matchup for Canisius against an aggressive, fast-paced defense. Now you play a team in Rider, which I think is the weakest team in the MAAC. Shot quality-wise, not strong on either side of the court. They're not a good shooting team. Their defense has struggled overall this year. I'm back on Canisius in this one. They're actually a pretty good shooting team. Top 50 in three-point shooting, top 75 in free throw percentage. They're 133rd in effective field goal percentage. I think Canisius makes enough tough shots in this game to win it outright on the road, but I'll certainly take the points with the Golden Griffins as the road dog. Next up, we have Jackson State and Arkansas Pine Bluff. This one is 8 p.m. Eastern. Now, according to KenPom, Arkansas Pine Bluff is the second worst team in the country, and They just took down Mississippi Valley State. They've actually won 2 of their last 3 games. So while their metrics are still not great, I do think this team has improved quite a bit. And while I don't think they'll make too much of a run in the conference tournament, and I don't think they're going to win this game outright, I do think they're catching way too many points. There's a pretty dangerous offense playing at home, playing with revenge. And when you look at Jackson State, I do think they're a little bit overvalued in this spot because of recent results. They've won 4 straight games. They've won 6 of the last 7. They've earned some blowout wins, including the first matchup between these two. But in that game, Arkansas Pine Bluff still scored 78 points. And now they have one of the better players in the conference and one of the best names in college basketball in Dr. Bradley. He's averaging just under 20 points per game in the 16 games that he's played, about 46% from three-point range. He was excellent against the Delta Devils last time out. He scored 26 points. He had a couple of assists, some rebounds. I think that, Arkansas Pine Bluff has enough here offensively to at least cover the number. Like I said, I don't know if they win the game outright, but I think it's going to be a close one down the stretch. And, playing at home with revenge, I'm going to take a chance here with the Golden Lions. Next up, we have Tarleton and Cal Baptist. This one is going to be 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, we talk about how defense travels in college basketball and other sports, but it hasn't really been the case for Tarleton this year. And while the defense has not been miserable on the road, they have been pretty miserable on the road as a team because only 1 win for the Texans overall this season in true road games and just 1 neutral site win to go with it. So, that 1 true road win was back on January 9th against Southern Utah. You could argue the weakest or one of the weakest teams in this conference. Now you're playing Cal Baptist, a team playing at home with revenge. They lost the first meeting of the season series to Tarleton. I think this is just a bad spot for the Texans. I mean, they're one of the worst offenses in all college basketball. They turn the ball over about 25% of their possessions. That's good news for Cal Baptist, a pretty aggressive defense. I think Cal Baptist defense is going to be suffocating in this game, and I expect them to have much better shooting numbers than they did in the first meeting between these two, which, Cal Baptist may not be the best shooting team, but they're certainly a lot better than what we saw in that first matchup. They're a strong shot quality team. I think they're a dangerous team in this conference tournament. Grand Canyon is the overall favorite. Utah Valley is kind of the second favorite, but I think Cal Baptist is a team to watch out for in this conference. They could be able to pull it off. I'm going to go Cal Baptist in this one, lay the points at home. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium, and there is a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.